Hey guys, and welcome to In the Stew. I'm your host, DejahBoo, and I got my boy Moe D in the building. Go ahead and say what's up.
What up? What up? It's Moe D here.
So we're gonna go ahead and get this started. Tell us a little bit about yourself to start off this interview.
Yeah, definitely. So, as you know, I go by the name of Moe D. I've been making music since I was about 8 years old. I got my own karaoke machine for Christmas. And then I've been making music since every day, coming home from school, making music on the karaoke, from the CD deck, putting the beat and then recording directly live. It has to be on a live take. There was no like dubbing or anything like that, straight into a cassette. So that's just like the beginning of beginnings. And then going into like when I got into my teenage years, then I started upgrading my studio. I got a little computer, I got a little microphone, and I was able to officially start producing and making beats, and all that good stuff. And just making music. And then ever since, fast forward to today, having like 14. I think today I released like 14 projects, something like
Wow.
that, solo projects. And this year, last year now, right? It's January 5th, 21. So in 2020, I released Evolution, which was my latest project. And now working on some new stuff and getting ready for this year.
Right. That's what's up. I love the grind, man. I see
Hmm.
that, 14 different projects. That's dope.
Yeah,
That's huge, man. 'Cause
grinding.
I know after, a first couple, if you don't do that great, it's hard to keep going. But
Right.
it seems like you got that drive, man, and that's much, that's what we need. So my first question to you is, when was the moment that you knew that you wanted to stick with music?
Honestly, it was that day when I received it. It could sound cliche or whatever, but when I received my karaoke for Christmas when I was 8 years old, I literally fell in love. Like I dragged that. We had Christmas in my grandma, rest in peace. She passed away recently, a few months ago. Um, but you know what I mean? Like we were making music every day on that thing, plugged it in, and literally like I fell in love. And that's when I began to like go into studying hip hop, and I started studying the music. And my dad too, he even though he wasn't in the household, was with a single parent. My dad, we worked at Holyoke News, which was like a company with magazines and books and all that stuff. So every day he would like take copies of like the hip hop, the Source, and all those classic magazines that you could think of, and he would deliver them to me, and they would have CDs in there, and I would take out posters from in there, and I would literally be indulged in music, like I said, from that early age. And that's why I think I was able to stay consistent through all these years, because I started so early and I felt like it was just something that matched so soon that I felt like it was destiny type of thing.
Right.
And then everything just continued to evolve.
That's dope, man. So like you're speaking of like, your grandma, your dad, who was like a big influence in your music? Like while like even today, like as you're coming up.
That's a good question. So honestly, I would have to say my biggest supporter and person I love the most, I mean, would have to be my mother, right? Because she was the single parent holding it down for me and my four sisters.
Right.
So, and me being the only guy in the family, right, the only son, it put that not weight on my shoulders, but it gave me that responsibility to do what I got to do, for my family, as much as I possibly can. But the main figure, and what I'm trying to get to, is that my mother, she's the main reason why I have that soul and that spirit and all that. She called me the prayer child because she was praying crazy, in the altars, like, oh, I want a son, after she had so many daughters. And she finally got me after so much prayer. So, much love to my mom for supporting me from early on, and everything that I've gone through in my whole life. She has always been like the person that I can always talk to, and level with. So if there's a number one person in my life, hands down, it's my mother.
That's dope. What was one of the things like what was the most I guess significant thing that she's done for your career?
Yeah, honestly, she did give me that karaoke, and then
Hmm.
at 13, she ended up getting me my own computer with like where I can get my studio program, and I ended up getting an interface, a mic, all the things to basically be able to record music, and edit, master, mix,
Right.
beat make. So at 13, that's when I officially started like really fine tuning um, the music, like the production side, and testing different things out, and different, just being indulged in the music fully and letting it flow through. It's kind of magic.
Right. That's, and it's good to have someone who supports you 100%. And it's good that it's family because,
Yeah.
that, I mean, they say, some families have it rough, but I just feel like family, you can't go wrong. They're going to be your supporters
Yeah, no
regardless.
doubt, no doubt. I mean, even if it's not all the members, but there's always gonna be that
That
love
one.
there, and that those certain people. But at the end of the day, even through all the misunderstanding, everybody knows that it's all love with me. It's all love.
Right. And I think throughout your career, that's what you need. That's one thing that I've been learning in this industry is that you got to really stay humble and be good to those who've been good to you, because
Right.
those are the people, word of mouth, are going to be supporting you, going to be talking about you, going to be, so
For sure, gotta stay loyal. Gotta keep it real.
yeah,
No
for
matter what.
sure. What was one of the hardest things that you've had to overcome while being an artist?
Honestly, is getting the name out, because as for me, where I come from, like we come from a low budget household, single parent, what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
there was not a lot of money. So the biggest hurdle is getting heard, investing more in like studio, plugins and material and equipment to continue to grow, because like, where's the money gonna come from? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people where I'm from, you have to really, you come from the mud, you really got to work your way out. You starting in the negative, you're not starting like on an even playing field. You know what I'm saying? So to get to the point where you can officially start working and start saving up some money so that you can, finally start investing back in your craft and in what you love. That's something that could take time depending on where you're coming from. So anybody out there, any artist that's coming up, that's struggling with like exposure and all that stuff, and getting out there, that's the biggest hurdle. But at the end of the day, you gotta stay at it, stay consistent, because if you love it and it's in you, it's
Mm-hmm.
not a matter of giving up is not even an option. You know what I mean? It's just you. It's a part of it. It's a part of life.
Right, right. So I ask this to everybody. When will you know when your big break is going to happen or happened already?
Honestly, it's a timing thing. That's a great question. Honestly, it's a timing thing.
Mm-hmm.
My whole career, I've always wanted to not skip a step. I never wanted to skip any moment. I wanted to really mold myself as much as possible. So I wasn't like the type to try to do like a song or like a hit song that's out of my lane just to get some exposure. Like I really stood true to the core. What I'm saying, all the time. And if you don't mind just reiterating a little bit on the other part of your question so I can explain it better.
Like when I say like big break, like, well, let me ask you this then. So
Oh yeah, so I get what you're saying. So
yeah.
basically, at the end of the day, it's like a timing thing, right? So I officially feel like looking back at all of my material,
Mm-hmm.
I can comfortably say like, damn, like all these years I was able to grow, in
Right.
the music and as a person, I was able to grow. So if you listen to the most recent stuff compared to the early stuff, you should be able to hear that growth. And then in 2020, I officially got my own studio at my own spot, my own place with my own privacy, like, and I could do it on me. And that's where evolution came out. And that's
Mm-hmm.
when I officially feel like, I changed my jersey. Rest in peace to Kobe. When he changed from like the 8 to the 24. I
Right.
feel like for me that happened mentally in 2020. Just the position I felt I was in at that moment. And at the end of the day, to kind of wrap that question into a bow is basically, I think this is my year. At the end of the day, I feel like my timing is now. I got the energy. I'm motivated. I'm focused. I know what I'm capable of, and I'm just ready to go. 2021.
That's what's up. I like that energy because, a lot of people ask that question and, they don't really know how to answer it, but you had a definite answer. It was last year, and you're still growing, and I think that's huge for all artists to know that, um, there's always more room to grow. You're never done. Like, even if you feel like you made it, nah, like there's more to come.
Right.
So That's
And
what
it's that mentality, you know.
yeah,
It's like when Big
exactly,
and Jay said, like, you
exactly,
always got to treat your first project, you know what I'm saying? Like your last project, like your first project, everything like
exactly.
your first project, you know what I'm saying? And that's how you stay on your toes and you stay grinding.
Right. So now we're gonna move up forward into your album Evolution. I was reading your article with Kim Coco.
Mm.
You kind of
Shout out
explained
Kim.
um, your why the title is called Evolution, but you know, for those who haven't read the article, do you want to explain why the title is called Evolution?
Yeah, sure. So basically, at the end of the day, it's pretty straightforward, right? Evolution is the growth, right? It's all about the mentality of growth. And going back to when Kobe, like I said, when he changed his jersey from the 8 to the 24, that was his part of evolution. And all of us on this earth, at some point, we all have our own timings, but we all go through like our evolution, right? We have an evolution period where we're like transitioning to officially the person that we feel like that completes us, that we are. But at the end of the day, the project is just about that, about evolving from where you come from, continuing to have the mentality of evolution to evolve, and just pushing, pushing the limits, pushing the boundaries, and always having that mentality of sky's the limit and beyond. Um, and at the end of the day, that's what I wanted to put a stamp on for the project overall. It's that mentality, right? It's like that Mamba mentality. It's about
Right.
evolving.
Mm-hmm. And you know, you bring up, you know, Kobe and
Yeah.
his evolution and all that.
Shout
Is
out
there,
LeBron.
did
Yeah.
you have 8 songs on there because of like the whole Kobe thing, or was that just
That's a good question. That's a good question. Honestly, um, not exactly, because in 2017 I released a project called Vision.
mm-hmm,
And that project Vision also had 8 songs, and basically that project, that's when I started to be like, you know what, why don't I just start officially doing 100% of my stuff? So that's including like, making the beat, mixing, mastering, engineering, marketing, and all that stuff. Why not do the whole project 100%, lyrics, everything? So on Vision, I ended up doing half of the project like that, and then half were my team's like uh, beats and stuff like that. So
right?
so on that project, Vision is kind of where I started to, 100% do all my stuff. Even though my whole career, 100% of the lyrics are all mine and all that stuff. But like I said, that's all part of the growing process. Learning and just evolving, man. Sorry if I'm kind of reiterating myself, but that's like
No,
my main stamp that I want to
right.
hit. That it's
That's your brand
continuous.
right now.
Yeah,
No, it
yes, that's what it
definitely
is.
reiterate it.
Yes, evolution.
So what would you say your favorite song on the album is and why?
Um, I would have to say, hmm, kind of thinking of them right now. I would have to say it's actually Evolution. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a song on the Evolution album called Evolution. I actually just released the video to that like a few days ago, coming into the new year. So it's actually on YouTube. You can find it on my YouTube channel and all that stuff. Moe D Music, everything at Moe D Music. And that, and it's on there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Right. Dang. So we were about to get into the visual for Authentic, but you know, because I had these
Authentic
questions
too.
for quite a while. But I mean, I'll ask the same questions for Evolution. Like how was shooting the video? I haven't even seen the video. I feel like I'm unprepared now.
Check it out. It's fresh. It's fresh. So you got some time. It literally just came out this week. I think I dropped it on Sunday. So what, 2 days ago?
Right.
Something like that. So but yeah, if you don't mind, what's the question again?
Like how was it shooting the video? Like what's the
Yeah,
concept of the video? Since
the
you know
video
I haven't
the
seen it
video was the video was dope because I actually shot it in Boston, and I teamed up with a new crew. Shout out Exposed. Some people out there, Matt, shot the video. Matt Thomas, he's a genius at what he do. He did the visuals on that, so I was really hyped because that was like the first official time that I went like I traveled to do a video that was not kind of local to where I'm from.
yet.
So I kind of stressed it out. So I tried that new team, and it was dope because like this dude was super professional, came ready with all his stuff. Anything that I had ideas of, he took on. So as far as shooting the video, it was fun. You know, we went to the skate park in Boston. We went to like where the Boston Celtics play, you know, the TD Garden area where the bridge is and all that stuff. We got some good scenes, you know, with different car, you know, fresh car and all that stuff.
You felt like he captured your vision and
Yeah.
everything like that. Like there was no problems.
Yeah, no, not at all. And it's not, I'm saying it in a way like basically that, you know, I like to try different people to see, because every artist and every video guy or, you know, musician, they all have their own view and vision of things. So if you try out a different video guy, he's gonna have like different angles and different mentality behind, you know, everybody has their own way of doing their art, whatever the art is. Like you do interviews and you have your own format of how you like to do it, right? So he did it in a different way that I really liked. So when I looked at his videos, I was like, you know, this is the type of visuals that I would want to see on my music. So you know, shout out to everybody that I've worked with, because all the video guys that I've worked with have done their thing. There was just something about this most recent one that I really enjoyed, that really hit home to me. Maybe because it's my most recent stuff and what I feel most passionate about, evolution.
Right, right. And how did you come across him? Was it just Instagram or you knew him from a friend? Like
No,
how did
just
they connect?
networking, you know, just like, you know, over the years, just networking with people. And then before you know it, you know, you're connected to somebody they know and somebody they know. So, you know, just continuing every year to network. And then all of a sudden, actually Amadeus, shout out to Amadeus, he actually connected me with that video dude.
Mm-hmm.
um you know, just basically like a referral, but like, yo, this, they do this, they work out here, if do something. And we kind of pieced it together, you know, just life flowing and ideas coming in, and then when they come to fruition, you know, executing the actual project, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, Amadeus is really he was really helpful for me as well. I did a few interviews with him on my
Real one.
Instagram live and
It's a real one.
we just have that like great connection. So he's definitely I'm glad that you even brought him up because he's a good connect to have. You
Oh,
know,
for sure.
he's
Shout out
definitely been
Amadeus.
in the industry for sure. Shout out to him.
King, yep.
Um, okay, so you know, I'm gonna definitely check out the video once we get off of this. But I also noticed that you had merch.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so off the Evolution album, I kind of just put some merch together, you know, some t-shirts, hoodies, you know, different sizes, women, men. There's different stuff in there. So actually, if you go on the site, Moe D Music, MOED as in daddy music.com, you know, you're gonna be able to find not only the music but the merch. You know, there's a lot of different stuff in there. I got a lot of more ideas, a lot of new ideas that I'm about to execute pretty soon about, you know, with merch, with music. And like I said, also working on a new project. So, and also working on, you know, just to throw it out there, working on a book as well. So, you know, got some things coming for 2021.
Hey, that's what I like to see, man. The grind is real right now. That is
Let's get
definitely what I like
it.
to see.
Yeah,
One of the things that I did notice was that you had a quote on there that said real is rare.
yeah,
And I think, you know, it's self-explanatory to me, but you know, everybody has a meaning for something, even if
yeah.
it's just straightforward. So I was just gonna ask you, what does that mean to you? Like, why did you put that on a shirt?
Well, I put that first of all of the merch on there is based on a title of a song on the album Evolution. So one of the songs is Authentic. You got some shirts of that. You got Evolution, and you have Real is Rare. At the end of the day, Real is Rare is just basically saying like nowadays with everything going on and all the madness. At the end of the day, it's like you're able to find out who the real ones are, right? Because whoever's there is still with you, holding you down, and you know what I'm saying, you're able to see that more clearer. And hopefully 2020 with the pandemic and all that stuff was able to open certain people's eyes on certain things, and even through the madness you're able to see the positive and the growth potential in the trial and tribulation. So at the end of the day, real is rare is, and also it's just about, you know, the world growing so fast. There's so many people coming into the earth that being real nowadays is just so rare. When you talk about, you could take it even deeper when you talk about like the media and different ways that things get out there. It's just, you know what I mean, it's just rare that you're able to find a true authentic real story or a real person that you can relate to and vibe with. And if you do have those people or those things in your life, you know what I'm saying, feel blessed, because you know nowadays real is rare.
Right. 100%. I feel you on that. Like the more and more you get into this industry, you realize who's real and who's fake, who's in it for just the money, who's really passionate. But I think you nailed it head on with that explanation.
I appreciate that.
I also see that you have face masks, which is so important now because we're in this damn quarantine.
Yeah.
um, but so far, like as far as like the merch and stuff, has it been going good, or do you have like higher expectations? Like how?
Yeah, honestly, for the merch, I have much higher expectations because that's something that I basically just started to dabble in, right? Because I have so many focuses in life, primarily is the music. So merch is something that I was like, you know what, let's open it up. Let's find out how to open the store and start products so that we can at least have the foundation. And as soon as we get this thing rocking with the music in 2021 and everything grows, not only do I want to continue to do merch, but I'm thinking about expanding the material and merch, and eventually, focusing on the merch department as well. Hopefully, I can get some people through networking that I can help facilitate some merch through that know how to market those type of businesses. But at the end of the day, I do have visions for that department as well, as merch, but music first.
Right, right. And I definitely, if you haven't already, definitely try to get on Clubhouse. I am addicted to Clubhouse. I have
Mm,
networked with so many different people, whether it's radio, whether it's PR, whether it's marketing. But definitely try to get an invite to Clubhouse because it has
right.
definitely changed my life in just a day.
Cool.
So
Definitely.
definitely check that out. Um, Another question that I had for you, just because, quarantine is just a huge topic now.
Yeah,
Um,
especially in 2020, that was a huge
yeah,
topic.
it was huge. So this kind of, goes back to 2020 as well as today. Um, what do you do to keep your spirits up during, the quarantine? We can't really promote ourselves. We can't really go out.
Yeah.
So what do you do to kind of keep your spirits up?
Great question. I mean, at the end of the day, honestly, I always like to set my vibe. Wherever I'm at, I like to set the vibe. I mean, even if I go somewhere, I'd be bringing like the portable radio just to set the music vibe and wherever I'm at. But on a regular, it's just about setting the tone, you know what I'm saying? Setting the vibe, listening to a lot of music. I mean, I do hip hop and rap and all that stuff, but I listen to all types of music, you know what I mean? I listen to everything. So just taking everything in and setting the right vibe, and that's what I do, whether it's movies or shows or interviews or music, whatever it is, just picking the right selections and really, really sinking and soaking everything in that vibe that you create on your own for yourself. So yeah, just setting the tone every day.
Right, right. I like that answer because some people I've interviewed, they've been struggling. I did host a showcase, a virtual showcase back in November, and one of the artists that I had, he was inspired and motivated to keep doing music after just being able to perform through Zoom. So
Oh, yeah.
there's that was just a question that I just thought I'd bring up because after hearing that I was like, dang, like
Yeah,
even
that's
though
powerful. That's
you know
powerful. You never know where inspiration could come from. Inspiration comes
exactly
from everywhere. So that's a beautiful thing.
exactly. So we're gonna get into 2021 now. You said that you
Yeah.
got a bunch of stuff coming up. You said you got a book. um
Yeah.
do you have any singles? Like what can you tell us that you got in store for 2021? Like can you give us a book title, like drop dates, like what can you
Yeah. Yeah. So 2021, I mean, not to give too much, and also some of the things are a little premature so far, but they're in the works. It's just I'm definitely releasing a project before my birthday, March 31st. So be on the lookout. I'm not gonna give an exact date yet, but before my birthday, there will be another project out. And then hopefully, by summer around there, I can have the book completed around summertime. After the project, I can focus on the fine tunes on the book. So
Right.
you see what I mean? Basically
Mhm.
put my mind on more energy on a certain project, even though there's a lot of things going on, which is cool. But focus on the project. It is going to be called Forever Royalty. I'm gonna begin to release a single on that soon. So just be on the lookout because I'm saying I'm gonna start rolling out singles. you know, some merch and some visuals and, you know what I'm saying, some images, some content for that project. So yeah, so just basically working on the music project, getting that out, and then getting the book out. So be on the lookout. Hopefully all that, you know what I'm saying, will be done, all of that by summertime. So everything at its time.
That, you know what, I actually haven't interviewed somebody who was making a book, so I'm a bookworm, so
Let's get it.
I'm definitely gonna be looking out for that.
Hey, evolution, right? You gotta.
Right, I'm
You know what I
telling
mean?
you this. Look, I'm feeling that vibe.
Before you know, it's gonna be a regular thing. Like, you know what, you gotta be able to write a book too if you're gonna be making music. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be able to have that extra thing that you do. And you know what I'm saying, it's a beautiful thing, because to get a little bit further into the book too, is it's gonna be a self-help type of book.
Mhm.
So it's really gonna be about inspiration and motivation, and just grinding and continuing to grow. And you know, the book is gonna just have a lot of gems that I've learned throughout my life, and it's gonna have a lot of the wisdom that I feel like I gotta let go before I'm gone. You know what I mean? So definitely, you know, hype and ready for all that.
Right, that's what's up. What about any shows? Have you like booked any shows to do
Yeah.
like live stuff,
Yeah,
or?
that's a good question. I mean, I want to do shows so bad. I mean, the last show I did was just a couple weeks ago. I performed in Queens, New York. You know, I think I put a clip of it. I wish I had the whole thing because that was pretty lit. But I put a clip of it on my social media, and that was fresh. That was just recently. You know what I mean? That was just recently. You know, December 18th, 2020, doing a show in Queens, New York, and I plan to do more. You know what I'm saying? With everything going on with the pandemic, things are kind of slowly starting to get back to normal, kind of, sort of say. You know what I mean? Like, you see people in the you know, arenas now, in concerts or whatever, you know, sports. You're starting to see people come back now, because obviously in 2020, it's like everybody that had a tour scheduled, it got delayed to this year, right? So at the end of the day, I feel like this is gonna be a big rebound year for those artists that was gonna do, or that had 2020 planned to do a lot of shows. But 2021, yeah, I mean, as for me specifically, I want to do plenty of shows. And if I get the opportunities to do good shows, you know, I'm in there.
Right, right. No, I feel that 100%. I'm working on a showcase again. So if you're, if you plan to come to LA sometime in the spring, around like April, May, definitely hit me up. I would be more than happy to include you in that showcase.
Dope. I'll definitely be out there this year. Hopefully I can make it for that time. We'll be in touch for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But that concludes all my questions. But was there anything else that I didn't touch that you wanted to talk about before?
I mean, at the end of the day, I just want to make clear that life is a blessing no matter what happens. You know what I mean? And I just want to put out that positive energy and vibe. And hopefully somebody else can get inspired and continue to dream and push the pedal forward and continue the marathon, so to speak. So, you know, putting it at that, you know, love is unity and unity is love. And if we have that patience, right, that virtue, that patience is a virtue to understand each other, you know, the world could be an even more beautiful place. So definitely.
I love that. I love that. Go ahead and shout out like your Instagram handle, your website one more time, where they can get the merch, all that stuff before we wrap it up.
Yeah, so everything at Moe D Music, MOED as in daddy, music.com. Everything at Moe D Music and modmusic.com.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Check us out for our next interview. Peace out.
Peace.